Hello team, it's your boy Owen Does F1 back with another video. It's been a while over the summer break, but I'm finally getting back into it and I've got a couple to catch up on. So I'm going to be talking about the Hungarian Grand Prix today and the return of Daniel Ricciardo. Now, it was a big shame for Nick de Vries to not be able to finish out the whole season, but he hadn't been performing too well, and I think this move to bring in Ricciardo will put a bit more pressure on Yuki Tsunoda to really compare him against a known factor now, and maybe even put the pressure on Sergio Perez if Ricciardo is thinking about trying to get back into that Red Bull seat. Now, getting into the race weekend, we saw in qualifying polar opposites in the Mercedes garage as George Russell goes out in Q1, whereas Hamilton ends up getting pole position, taking that away from Max by only a few thousandths of a second. To be fair to George though, he did have a bit of traffic on his outlap and he couldn't quite get his lap started properly, but a big shame for them to be out in Q1. We also saw the Alfa Romeo having a really good qualifying, with Zhou getting into P5, but then issues at the start of the race sent him straight to the back. Then we saw the Alpines in turn 1, both crashing, a double DNF for them, albeit not their fault this time. Got hit from behind. I think it was Zhou hit Ricciardo, who hit Gasly, and then that wiped out both him and Ocon. So both of them are out, whilst further up the field, Verstappen took the lead and he didn't look back, just ran away with the race from that point. A bit later on we saw Piastri and Norris having a good race, and then the McLaren making a strategy call, letting Lando Norris pit a lap earlier, which resulted in him being able to undercut and get out. And there was a lot of talk about, had McLaren done this intentionally to get Lando in front? I don't think they did. They had a bit of pressure from behind, and if they'd have boxed the other way round, they'd have risked Lando being overtaken by, I think it was George behind him as well. But in the end it was a really good result for McLaren, with Lando Norris finishing P2. And of course he then broke Max Verstappen's trophy during the podium celebrations. I guess he's just as sick as the rest of us with Max winning every race. I'm not going to do driver ratings because it's been quite a while since the race when I'm recording this, and to be honest, a lot of the sort of midfield and back of the pack drivers, I don't really remember what happened with them, so I'm going to skip the driver ratings for this one. See, I might do some for Belgium, but we shall see. And yeah, that's all I've got for this race. I'm going to call it there. It's a bit of a different format because, like I say, it's just been a bit of a while since the actual race, so I don't have a lot of detail to go into about any of it. Just trying to catch up with the races I'm behind on. So make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and have a good day.